How do you feel about the Jets already talking Super Bowl?
I'm okay with it. They should be talking Super Bowl, though. I'm fine with it 100%. You look at it, and if they wasn't thinking that way, I would be annoyed with that. If I was a teammate thinking about anything other than us playing in New Orleans in January, or is it maybe February? In February, in New Orleans. That's where my sights are. Now, you can say, well, everybody, every single year, thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. Well, the Carolina Panthers can think all the hell they want. They ain't going to no damn Super Bowl. We know that.
Carolina Key?
You know,
Key.
It's just not going to happen. But the New York Jets didn't go out and go court Aaron Rodgers and wait all that time to get him and acquire him 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, to just win a game against the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins in the division. Mm-hmm. That's not what they did. They said, we going all in to win the Super Bowl. Anything other than winning the Super Bowl, or even getting to the Super Bowl, let's just get there. Anything other than getting to the Super Bowl is a complete failure, and everybody will be fired.
No, I don't agree with that.
Everybody will be
This is the Jets we talking about.
Fired.
This is the Jets.
It doesn't matter.
The Jets ain't been to the playoffs in 15, 14, 30, how long?
A long time.
A long time. Yeah. So how you going to go from this little Kia to a Lamborghini all of a sudden? Come on, man. They should be happy making the playoffs. Yeah, I get it. You get Aaron Rodgers, and it sounds good, but this ain't the Aaron Rodgers we saw in Green Bay. This is 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles tear. Yeah, you got an elite defense, the Jets. You know, they're going to be one of the top defensive teams, and maybe you think your offense is going to be better under Aaron, but this team, short-term goals.
Prior to them, Joy, getting Aaron Rodgers, I believe it was Mike White and Zach Wilson, I know Zach Wilson for sure. Prior to them getting Aaron Rodgers, they won 8 games.
7.
Aaron Rodgers is good for 3, just alone.
All right, that'll put you at 10.
Alone. Now they go out and they get him, right? They go out and get him. They didn't go get you, me, Paul. They went and got him. Right. They gave him whatever you wanted. They kept his offensive coordinator from Green Bay. They got fired, and Nathaniel Hackett from Denver that came with Robert Saleh over there. The plan was already in motion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you should aim high. I don't believe in setting low goals. Day-to-day, sure, we'll be a little bit better today. We'll go a little longer on the elliptical than we did yesterday. But the ultimate goal should always be big. It should always be the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Even in Carolina, even though that's not realistic, you should not walk in aiming low. As a player, that shouldn't be your thought. So I'm actually perfectly fine with it, especially if you are a team that is even on the cusp of potentially getting to the Super Bowl. Yes, okay, we're throwing a lot of shots like the Carolina Panthers right now, but if you're a team that is even potentially capable of competing for a Super Bowl, that should be the goal.
The only reason why I even brought up Carolina, though, Joy, is because they were probably the worst team in the league.
But no, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you are a team that is on the cusp, or you're a team that has the potential to break through and get to a Super Bowl, your goal should be Super Bowl.
Think about this. Sauce Gardner, Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Lazar, Quinnen Williams. I could just go on and on and on.
Yeah, they're very talented.
They're talented and ready to go. All they need is a quarterback.
Oh, no. I think they need a very competent quarterback that can show up late into the regular season, into the postseason.
Yes.
I think they need top-level defense all around. I think they need great coaching. I think they need a lot of breaks.
But they had all that.
I think they need a lot of luck. I think they need to be healthy. I don't think that this is a Super Bowl contending team. What I'm saying is,
that's not fair. That's not true.
What I'm saying is that they should be thinking and talking about the Super Bowl, which is why I don't actually have a problem with them doing it as players, because that should be the goal for everyone in the organization to get to and win a Super Bowl. That you're going to aim low. Now, do we want to change the conversation to what is realistic for the New York Jets? Because then I'm more on Paul's side. You haven't been to the postseason since 2010. You have no idea what Robert Saleh is. He's not been a good coach to this. What?
See, go ahead. I didn't say anything, but go.
You're making that face. He's an 18-33 record in 3 seasons with the Jets.
Have you seen his quarterback?
I did see his quarterback. Who drafted that quarterback?
Yeah, but Robert Saleh, first of all, didn't draft him. Robert Saleh did not draft him. Joe Douglas drafted him.
Okay, but he is part of that regime that brought in
I
Zach
understand.
Wilson.
And guess what? They recognized, just like Shanahan recognized that Trey Lance wasn't the answer.
Very quickly.
And guess what they did? They cut bait
they went and got Aaron
immediately.
Rodgers, which is a brilliant idea.
Get this dude out of here.
And then Aaron Rodgers proceeded to tear his Achilles into the season. And then instead of going out and making a move to get a competent backup, they then tried to pitch us all that Zach Wilson was somehow miraculously going to absorb some greatness from Aaron Rodgers in the offseason.
Yeah, but you couldn't move on. You couldn't move on from him last year because of cap salary ramifications.
They did nothing to remedy that situation.
But you couldn't. You couldn't. You couldn't do anything.
You couldn't go get another backup.
Yeah, but the backup that you would have gotten was probably a dinosaur just like Aaron Rodgers, because you couldn't get a young, competent backup because nobody's going to give you a young, competent backup.
What did the Browns do last year?
The Browns got Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm. Where were the Browns at the end of the season?
They had Joe Flacco.
What did the Steelers do last year?
Joey, they had Joe Flacco. He was a sub-zero refrigerator for the New York Jets. He couldn't move.
I don't want to make this a Robert Saleh segment. All I'm saying
is
though. We don't know. All I did was saying we don't know what Robert Saleh is, and he's not been a good coach up until this point. So we don't know what Robert Saleh is. They don't have established culture. They haven't been to the postseason since 2010. No. Aaron Rodgers has not played.
Coming out. You have to smell it. I smell it.
I haven't said anything but facts yet.
It's the Miami coming out. I smell it.
I haven't said anything but facts yet. Nothing but facts.
Facts.
Nothing but facts yet.
She's just not going to go from the bottom dwellers, just no playoffs, and then Super Bowl?
Look, here's what I'm going to say.
All because of Aaron Rodgers?
All because of Aaron Rodgers. Here's why I'm going to say this. You have a point about Robert Saleh's record. There's no question about it. That is a fact. His record is not good. But his quarterbacks were not good.
Correct.
Breece Hall, his rookie running back, got hurt. They had to try to figure out what Garrett Wilson was all about. His defense, which he was brought in to be a defensive guy, his defense has been pretty damn good.
He's a D coordinator?
Well, he was a DC. Let's just say he's a DC.
I know he's a defensive coach, but when you're the head coach, your defense should be good. But
that's what I'm saying.
But the rest of the team can't just constantly be in disarray, which it has been.
It's been in disarray. He's only been there, what is this, his fourth year now?
Only?
Yes, because everybody's been broken up. They haven't been healthy. Mekhi Becton, they moved on from him. They missed on that draft pick. He wouldn't stay out of the lunchroom.
Okay, can we agree on this? We don't know what Robert Saleh is yet.
We can agree on that.
Okay,
but to say he's a bad coach because
I didn't say he's bad. I just said he hasn't been good.
And Aaron Rodgers ain't the same what he used to be.
Aaron Rodgers is 3 years removed from winning the MVP, man. I just telling you.
How many more years removed from winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's 14 years removed from winning the Super Bowl, or maybe even longer than that. But that's okay.
Do you think that Aaron Rodgers has enough left in the tank for a Jets playoff run?
I saw the way he was moving on that practice field we were just seeing.
I wasn't looking at it. I was arguing with Joey.
I'm not even sure that Aaron Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback today.
I got to get out of here, man. You getting ready to make me leave.
I'm not saying all time, Key.
No, I'm talking about today.
Today.
You think that Aaron Rodgers today
is a top
10 quarterback in the league?
Oh, my God, yes. For sure.
No, I don't think so. You want me to name them?
You can name them all day long. Huh? You can give me I can give you 10 quarterbacks on a list and remove Aaron Rodgers. But we're talking about 1 year. We're not talking about young dudes. We're not talking about is C.J. Stroud, is he better than... I'm not taking Aaron Rodgers over C.J. Stroud. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. But if I need Aaron Rodgers just this year to do the things...
To do what? To win the game?
To get us to the Super Bowl. I'm taking that.
No.
You not?
No, he can't. I don't think he... I mean, I think a lot has been kind of like exaggerated about Aaron. He's won 3, 4 MVPs, but... 4 MVPs, but like just playoff success. What has he done for me?
Okay, so here's where I will correct you and Joy at. You talk about his playoff success, lack thereof, or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Yes, he has faltered in the playoffs recently.
Right here, look at this. Oh man.
But is that? Well, he gonna run like that because he's old. But do you factor in the rest of his teammates? The defense struggling in Green Bay, they finally got it turned around late in the season. Or he's missing certain receivers. He's playing with rookies a couple years ago. You got to factor all that into the equation when you're talking about
Aaron Rodgers then. If they can have a team that's built the way, let's say, when Peyton Manning won his last one, it wasn't because of Peyton Manning. It's because they had an elite defense.
Yeah, but he
remember?
Isn't where Aaron Rodgers is right today? As I look at it, he's not where Peyton was in last year, Peyton's career. No, he's not.
I don't think he's.
No way.
But here's,
no way.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Paul.
Come on, man, stop.
I mean, Key, the last time that Aaron played was the 2022 season.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's why we say January 8th, 2023. That was the end of the season, where he lost to the Lions in the last game of the season.
Whatever.
Missed the playoffs. Semantics.
Yes.
Yes, he finished the season ranked 20th in completion percentage.
There we go.
11th in passing yards.
There we go.
Now, he was 7th in passing touchdowns.
Okay.
Tied for 7th most interceptions. He was 8 and 9 that year.
Yeah.
Right.
So
he had a very, even by his own standards, a bad year, but just a completely average year in the last full season that he played as an NFL quarterback. Now, obviously, we know what Aaron Rodgers' resume is. That's why he's with the New York Jets. That's why he's Aaron Rodgers. That's why we're even sprinkling the word Super Bowl around the New York Jets, because otherwise it would be silly to even associate them with the Super Bowl. That's just the reality of it in totality. I guess for me, my struggle of leaping to them being a realistic Super Bowl contender is a couple things. One, Aaron is 40, coming off of an Achilles injury, which I don't know when that became a broken thumb, but to me, Achilles injury is a very serious injury that's very hard to come back from, even if you are not running backwards. Like, it's still a thing to come back from at any age, but particularly at 40. He's going to be 41 mid-season. The last full season that we watched him play, he wasn't great. I do not believe that if we got that version of Aaron Rodgers, which was the last full season that he played, that he will be able to compete in the AFC where all of the young quarterback talent is.
Based on what you just said, if you get that version of him, I don't personally believe.
You think you're going to get a better version than that?
Yeah, because the last time you saw him play in Detroit, you know what he did? He had both feet out the door. He was already mentally checked out, completely done with Green Bay.
What?
He was already completely just done.
He's been contemplating retirement in the last few years.
Man, you just talking, man. He ain't
No,
giving up $100 million.
He got one foot out the door. He's going on these.
Listen to that, I'm going to retire.
Going to these caves in Egypt, and all of a sudden he's going to come back to New York and win the Super Bowl.
He's locked in, right?
That's what I believe.
You think he's locked in?
That's what I believe.
You don't think the Achilles injury is going to affect him?
I don't know if it will, I don't know, because I've never had one. Okay, I can only talk to people that have had them.
Correct.
And for the most part, they've done well with their careers after the fact. He's a quarterback. Okay, his ability to get outside the pocket on waggles and boots and things of that nature might be slowed down to a degree, but he still has his arm, his right arm, and he still has that wrist. He can still flip it with the best of them. I get it. He hadn't won in a long time, but I'm not looking at Green Bay, because when I look at Green Bay, I look at rosters. And I have to look at what they had in place in Green Bay compared to...
He's great. Shouldn't he be elevated?
No, stop! Joy, stop it!
I don't know what he's talking about.
Stop! You can't carry 52 people that ain't...
I mean, I don't think
but we talking Super Bowl because of Rodgers.
Yeah, like he didn't throw for more than 300 yards the entire season.
Yes, but a lot of that, he had young receivers in and out of the lineup. Those dudes was puppies. They was, come on now. Romeo Doubs was a puppy. Christian Watson was in and out of the lineup.
I think he'll hit 300 at some point this year.
You more sold on the name than what actual reality is?
No, I'm not.
Like, the reality of it is that the New York Jets should be happy making the playoffs. This is not a Super Bowl.
You don't go get no damn Paul Pierce. Not Paul Wizard Paul or Clipper Paul.
Yeah,
Paul, not Brooklyn Paul. I'm talking about the Celtic Paul. If I'm trading for the Celtic Paul.
This ain't the Green Bay Rodgers.
What you mean?
What this ain't the Green Bay. This is the torn Achilles 40-year-old Rodgers.
I'm telling you,
this is equivalent to Wizards Paul. This is what this is. This is what this is equivalent to. I can help you win some games. I can get you to the playoffs.
You got benched in Washington.
We should be at
Brooklyn.
I was calling games Washington. You crazy.
Brooklyn. They set you down at Brooklyn. Brooklyn, that's right.
But as far as us winning a championship, it sound good in the locker room. It sound good. We talking about it. But we happy making it to the second round. We was cool with that.
They got playmakers. I'm not expecting for him. That's why I frowned at Joy when she said, I don't expect for him to do it all by himself, Joy. He has playmakers now. Guys that are, if they stay healthy, the running back, Breece Hall, is really, really good. That is a quarterback's friend. The offensive line should be retooled at a different level. Okay, he's got playmakers on the perimeters. The defense is solid and sound. You talk about you don't see him make it to the Super Bowl. One of the things about making it to the Super Bowl is getting in a dance. If you get in a dance, you got an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. On top of that, the Jets got to win the division because they like a Miami Dolphin team. I need you to try to get as many games at home as possible.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
They're not going to win the division.
If you
I don't know.
say they don't win the division, right?
Okay.
Say they don't, even if they do. Okay, so you now made it to the postseason.
Uh-huh.
So now you get the gift.
Still a failure.
You get the gift of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, who can they beat?
Or
like, who can they beat?
you get Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Man, they had Patrick Mahomes on the ropes. I think they had Patrick Mahomes on the ropes last year. If my memory serves me right, I don't have the schedule in front of me from a year ago, but I feel like for some reason the Jets had Patrick Mahomes on the ropes.
We're talking about in the postseason.
Postseason. Who can they beat?
In the postseason. They weren't in the postseason because they don't go to the postseason.
No, they don't.
See, that's the Dolphins. You gotta catch it, Paul. You're not up on this game over here.
I was.
She got a lot of Miami cap
He
in her.
said it before I did.
They don't go to the postseason.
don't go to the
The
postseason.
fans will be happy
They
if they make it.
haven't gone to the postseason recently.
That ain't what they do over here.
I understand that, but it's a new sheriff in town.
Okay.
I promise you, I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna let y'all gonna eat crow later on in the year. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was in my early 20s the last time that the postseason. Staying in the AFC East, let's talk about the Dolphins then. Are the Dolphins, my Dolphins, a real Super Bowl contender?
Okay, I like the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think they're Super Bowl contenders. I've been telling you that from day one. You think I'm just trolling you, but it's the reality of it.
Super Bowl contender.
I don't think everybody's a Super Bowl contender. Paul, will you stop?
You done said about 25 teams.
No, I'm not. No.
Every team we're going to talk about today is a Super Bowl contender.
So you don't think the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender? Because I do.
think-
She asked me the question. If she wanted you to answer, Paul, she'd have said, hey, Paul, do you think
just
they're a Super Bowl
saying,
contender?
I mean,
Let me answer.
I
Can I answer the question for her,
I
please?
just make sure you took your medicine this morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure.
They are Super Bowl contenders. And the reason they're Super Bowl contenders is because if they stay healthy,
Yeah.
they got all the ingredients. They got a dominant offense with a mind. Everybody talk about Shanahan, but Mike
McDaniel.
McDaniel, I don't know why I always want to say McDaniels because of Josh, but Mike McDaniel is a smart wizard.
Yeah.
He knows what to do with his talent and how to put him in the right places to be successful and make plays for him. On top of that, they had a 3-game lead midway through the season. They had a first-round bye coming their way. Then they had the second seed coming their way. Then all of a sudden, people start falling off like flies getting hit by a swatter. They just, every time you look up, damn, Miami just lost Jalen Phillips or Jalen Ramsey or such and such and such. And then you look up, and now they're on the road to Kansas City. They didn't have a shot in the world. As I've said to you, and I educate you, and I continue to try to educate you, even though you don't listen to me. They have to have home field advantage.
Yes.
If they can get a home game and get that second seed and hope somebody pops whoever is at the first seed, or get a good team in a great weather situation, because you don't want to wind up going to the cold weather, because they just don't, at least the last couple years, they haven't had what I deem as portable offenses.
Yeah.
Being able to travel to Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, New England, Kansas City, Buffalo, any of those out, Pittsburgh, any of that cold stuff in January. If they could somehow get a home playoff game, I don't knock them out. I'd say they just as valuable as everybody else getting into the playoffs. I mean, getting to the Super Bowl.
To the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to talk about the Jets as Super Bowl contenders, the Browns, the Bills, then the Dolphins are right in there as well. I think there's actually a very, very short list of real Super Bowl contenders. If we're just sticking with the AFC, I really feel like it's the Chiefs, it's the Bengals, and the Ravens, and then we can move to the other teams that are sort of in that bubble. And then there's obviously a drop-off to, you know, the lower end of the conference. But if we're going to talk about the Jets as Super Bowl contenders, I think the Dolphins are. The Bills obviously lost a lot, but if there's potential for them to go to the Super Bowl, I think the Dolphins are. The Dolphins have all the pieces, but to your point, you can't argue with their record in December and January. They don't have a portable offense. They're a finesse team. They've got to stay healthy, and they have to get a playoff win before we start talking about them as true, valid contenders. Now, it's possible, right? You are something until you're not. But if they can do that, if they can hold on to leads late in the postseason, if they can figure out a way to get home field advantage, then I think they're in a position to be able to do that. But there's a lot of ifs that we listed there. The teams that I think can go win anywhere, that's the Chiefs, that's the Bengals, and I think that's the Ravens. So they're in a different category, but I do think it's possible. Paul, I'm not so sure you agree.
I like their offensive talent. Is their offensive talent Super Bowl? I think so. Tua, he's emerged. I mean, you talk about Ty Hill, Mike McDaniel, Jalen Waddle. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, your O-line, I think it needs some help. I don't know if they can stop the run. You know, defense wins definitely championships. But is this must-watch TV? Absolutely. It's going to look good on the eyes. They're going to put up a lot of points. It's just something about Miami that just every year I feel like they go through the same thing. They got a team. They say, this is the year we can get to the playoffs. We can get a playoff win. Something happens. So
and that may be true.
You know, can they win a Super Bowl? They can get hot. I just don't think they got the defense to hold up to get to the Super Bowl offensively. They can find a way to outscore opponents, just put up the points, lead the league in scoring. They have an opportunity.
First of all, their schedule isn't brutal. Their schedule is pretty damn good, especially at the top. I mean, they start off with Jacksonville. Jacksonville ain't nothing to me, right? Then they play the Bills, which lost a lot again. And the Bills is in Miami. And Miami usually takes care of the Bills down in Miami. So you look at that. They go to Seattle. They got Tennessee. What's that? Then they play New England. They got a bye. They got the Colts in Arizona. So the start of the season for them, that thing is going to be pretty good. Now, here's a quarterback situation in Tua. Is he the quarterback that can lead them to the Super Bowl? Am I convinced now? Yeah, I'm convinced now. I'm convinced now. 3 years ago, I was not convinced. Or maybe even, 3 years ago, whenever Flores was the coach. But what Tua has done for me, Joy, is he's opened up my naive mind to really look at and understand, and I should have known better, but I was stupid and I didn't know better, that he's a good quarterback, and the coach held him back. And once he opened up that box for me to look in and realize, Flores held him back. He didn't let him just do. And that happens with defensive coaches anyway. That's why I hate defensive coaches with young quarterbacks, because they usually ruin them. And when you look at this situation, he gets Mike McDaniel, and all of a sudden he's a $200 million quarterback. When he had Flores, and there's nothing against Flores, Flores didn't like him from jump, didn't want him, wanted to try to go get another quarterback. So in the end, he is the guy that I believe is the right guy to lead them to the Super Bowl. He's the guy.
I think he is too. Obviously, they did a lot of work to put some other pieces around him as well.
So I'm sorry to Tua. I want to make sure Tua knows that. I'm sorry to Tua and all of my Polynesian brothers that's out there that always tell me, Keyshawn, lighten up on him. I'm lightening up on him now.
We were all very hard on Tua, and it's, some of what we watched, but also, to your point, coaches can play a massive role, especially with young quarterbacks, and obviously Flores was not the guy for Tua, and Tua wasn't the guy for Flores, and now they're both in their own separate situations, and Mike McDaniel's obviously done an incredible job with him. But yeah, they're going to need some help along the way, and most of it will also be staying healthy. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.